Mark Zuckerberg reveals social media feeds are now fueled by AI-generated content. This is something that's very important that you're going to want to pay attention to, because what this translates to is going to affect your children and how you interact with these platforms moving forward. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. If you've noticed a shift in your social media feeds recently, where you're seeing content from creators you don't follow or pages you've never liked, then you're not alone. This change to your newsfeed is here to stay. Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, formerly known as Facebook, revealed during the company's first quarter earnings call that more than 20% of the content in your Facebook and Instagram feeds is now recommended by AI from people, groups, or accounts that you don't follow. On Instagram alone, it's closer to 40%. So they're utilizing the tool of AI's ability to engage with you or feed you pages and stuff that you would normally not go searching for, so normally that you would not go looking for, but it's engaging with you in real time and learning from your real-time behavior versus an algorithm that learns and gets to know you better over time. A much slower process that you have to engage with the platform more in order for it to suggest to you more addictive habits, whereas now with utilizing this tool of AI in their background, this thing can engage with you in real time and push content in front of your face that you're not necessarily looking for, but is designed to capture your attention even faster and even better. And here you'll see this. AI-powered recommendations have already made an impact, leading to a more than 24% increase in time spent on Instagram since launching the TikTok rival short video reels in September 2021. This shift represents a long-standing commitment to using AI to transform the way people consume social media content, with Meta working on the technology for years. Yeah. Transform the way people consume social media content in the sense of, at the end of the day, their only goal is to capture attention more, is to lock you in on the platform more. That's been the only goal from the very beginning. That's nothing new. That's not like everyone's going to get upset at that information. Obviously, the goal for all of these social media platforms, YouTube included, is to engage with you more, is keep engagement locked in. A 24% increase. That is a massive, massive jump for AI that is engaging with you in real time as you use that platform. So this is a big deal because the potential for manipulation and the potential for people to be sucked in to whatever the AI is generating in real time it'll lock people in. And in a world where we're already inundated with so much stuff that's flashing before our eyes, how do you get people that's already kind of numb to all of this stuff now, like the shock value and all these things that are causing people to be more numb, especially with your children and young children that spend so much time on social media? If you're allowing them to spend so much time on social media, what is the way that you keep them engaged? And the only way to do that is, instead of getting locked in this rotating bubble where the feed is constantly feeding you stuff from the same people and it gets boring and the engagement time actually goes down, now the way that they're going to keep them locked in is they're going to have the AI engaging with them and learning their behaviors and what they're attracted to and how they engage with the platform in real time, much faster than the algorithm, because an algorithm needs to take time it takes time as you feed the algorithm your engagement for it to learn what you're interested in, whereas this AI will be able to read what your engagement and your activity is on the site as you do it. It doesn't need to wait over time, and it will be able to feed you content that will lock you in immediately. So this is pretty intense, knowing that you're going to have this AI generated content being force fed to you, because it will be able to do that. And I wonder really where the question really comes in, and maybe I'm overreacting, but the question really comes in here is with these social media sites that have already been proven to push certain kinds of content and certain forms of content. With this AI generative content, does this mean that they'll be able to in a way manipulate you down a pathway? And that's where it gets kind of scary. This shift is no surprise to those who have been following Zuckerberg's predictions. In 2022, he stated that 15% of feed content was AI generated and that the company expected these numbers to more than double by the end of next year. It seems Meta is on track to surpass this goal. Zuckerberg himself already has come out and admitted that he was approached by the government to only allow certain types of feed to be in the only certain types of information, to be in your feed during a very specific year that the government had a lot of interest in making sure was actually being consumed by their users. And so with that being said, we already have someone who has admitted to being approached, is already being approached. That's not conspiracy theory. Now you have this AI model that they're generating and using to in real time manipulate people into pulling them into the feed more. They're seeing a 24% increase. We're not the only ones noticing that. So what does that mean as far as coming up when they want a certain type of think to take place within the population? What does that mean? Does that mean that they're going to be able to use this AI to feed you certain types of content in order to lead you down a certain path? That's a form of manipulation. There's questions that need to be asked here, because this is where this stuff starts crossing the line into, okay, well, if you're going to have AI generate this, algorithms generating this is much different. Getting to know my activity over time, the algorithm is more or less designed to feed me data, feed me content over time based on my likes and all this kind of stuff. But where if you have an AI, a generative AI that is going to be able to do this in real time, the AI's ability to engage with you and interact with you becomes nuanced to a level where it will be able to have a under said goal and take you down a certain pathway it's desiring to take you down. And this is the stuff that it seems crazy to even talk about this. However, there are multiple tech industry heads at the top of these companies that are warning about what this AI's capability will be. And so the question we have to ask is, what does that mean in the future? Like, if you have certain people that you can actually program the AI to say, hey, certain people that consume this kind of content, XYZ content, would name whatever content that is, whether it's from a political party you don't like, whether it's from a certain religious group you don't like, whatever content you want that to be. Those people, they can feed that kind of person. What is that? Or they can identify that kind of person. They know, based on the content that you interact with, more than likely what your political views are, what your religious views are, what your even if you have those people that say, well, I don't, air quote, get political on Facebook. It doesn't matter. They can still identify with a pretty high rate of accuracy that will scare you. They can still identify where you lean based on what you interact with on your social media. Even if you interact with just ridiculous, silly stuff on social media, there is a bank of data they are collecting, and they're saying, hey, typically someone who leans on this side of the aisle interacts with XYZ type of content. And that's not a joke. So what if you could program this AI and tell it, hey, the people that interact with this kind of content, I want to over time feed them content from ABC. I want to get them here. Here's your endpoint. And the way you have the AI and its hyper intelligence and ability to understand and interact with you in real time, pulling content that specifically leads you down a certain path to end at a certain endpoint. That's where this stuff gets kind of scary. The more and more they feed it into this. And what I don't trust is that Zuckerberg himself has openly admitted that he was approached and was bullied into doing this. Now, I'm not calling him out saying he should have done something different. I've never been in a position where you have someone come into your organization and from the government and basically threaten you and tell you they're going to end you and end your whole career and your whole company, and they're going to put you on blast if you don't comply. Not very many of us have ever been in that situation, so I'd like to think what I would respond with, but I don't know. Obviously, I've never actually had that tested out, thank God, and I don't ever desire to. But But now that he has this kind of tool operating on his platforms, and I'm sure other social media sites are going to do this as well, if not they're not doing it already. This is happening. This is how they're going to utilize AI to increase their profitability. So if that takes place, what does that mean for people that are young, people like my children, people like your children? What does that mean when they're engaging in this platform and there is a already proven overarching community of, whether you want to believe it's a massive conspiracy theory or, there are certain people in this world that want to enforce or indoctrinate people to believe a certain way. And they've already expressed interest in believing that. And now they have a tool that is operating on their platform with a 24% success rate. This is just in the beginning, 24% success rate on getting it to do what they want its users to do, which is spend more time on the platform. They've already got that proven success rate. So now they may come now. So what's to stop them from coming in and saying, listen, now that you have this thing operating on your platform doing this, now what I want you to do is I want you to program this thing to lead people to XYZ point, to lead people to point A over here or point B. I want people that think this way to now think this way. And I want you to program this AI to generate content to get them there over time. That's where this stuff gets scary. That's where this stuff gets a little bit freaky, and we need to make sure there's some sort of oversight or some sort of rule or boundary that is established that does not allow for that to happen, because that could very easily happen. It's already been warned about. People like Elon Musk, people like the CEO of Google, people like Steve Wozniak, all these people have come out and have warned about what this thing is going to be able to do. And this situation here, this is an article that's to show you the effectiveness of its profits. It says, despite concerns over the influence of AI on social media platforms, Meta posted better than anticipated first quarter earnings, results with profits of $2.20 per share, exceeding the expected $2.03 per share. You're already seeing them celebrating the effectiveness of this. So what does this mean as far as them being able to experiment and see what this thing can do? That's the danger of it. Now, the algorithm essentially could do the same thing. Someone could say the algorithm could essentially do that exact same thing. You could program an algorithm to do the thing hypothetically. The problem is that the algorithm is much slower. It's that it takes time over time, and that the algorithm is only designed to send you content that you are engaging with actively, and it doesn't have as much of an effectiveness of pulling content that is new that you're not engaging with. See, the thing here is that the AI is pulling content that you're not subscribed to, you're not interacting with. This is completely new content. In real time, it's able to find it and pull it and put it in front of your face. And so this gives it a much more powerful model to be able to use specifically for manipulation, because now it can go out and find whatever it needs to find to get you there. And you don't even have to be subscribed to it. You don't have to be engaged to it. And you won't even know it's happening. Most people won't even know it's happening. And if you think I'm crazy, look at how your children interact with it. Because most of them, if you're allowing your children to interact with social media, most of them don't even fully understand what social media is and how it operates. And they're not prepared mentally to comprehend how it operates. It's a totally new animal. A totally new animal. And so, this is something that you need to be aware of, and this is something that there needs to be some sort of boundary set up, because this could get very dangerous very quickly. And this is something that I don't think should just be ignored. The prominence of AI has been a major talking point in tech companies' first quarter earnings calls, with every major company from Google parent, Alphabet Inc., and Microsoft to Spotify focusing on the technology. The startups market has seen similar traction and rise to prominence. Some of the biggest raises on popular retail startup investing platforms like Start Engine and WeFunder are in AI. For example, Atom Beam previously raised $2.4 million on Start Engine. The company is also currently live on Start Engine, which means anyone can invest, and one of the top raises by funds raised on the platform. Atom Beam uses AI to compact data by up to 75%. So there is a massive move to use more and more of this AI model. The dangers of this is specifically on these large social media platforms such as Facebook, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and all these different platforms where you're going to have this implementation of generative AI with the design of keeping you engaged. But if that thing is smart enough to keep you engaged, it's surely smart enough to keep you engaged and feed you content with some sort of agenda behind it. And I'm not going to sit here and let someone tell me I'm crazy for being concerned about an agenda being behind it, when all this crap has come out recently about how there has been agendas behind what you have been seeing in your social media feeds and what you have not been allowed to see. So if they've already been caught with their pants down in that area, then is it crazy to think, or at least be concerned at the potential of them engaging in some sort of nefarious activity to get you to a certain point using this generative AI? And the fact that we've already seen, I've read multiple articles and I've seen other high level tech executives come out and warn that the generative AI is so smart that people won't even be able to realize that they are being manipulated. You're not even going to realize it. You're just going to be following the rabbit trail. Now, there are those of us that will just flat out reject it. There are those of us that won't even engage with it. That's because we have a preset mindset going into it, knowing that this thing is, full of crap, and I'm not going to sit here and submit to it. However, our children and these generations to follow that are going to be encouraged to open-handed engage with it, open-handed welcome it in, will engage with it fully and won't realize it's being manipulated, or they're being manipulated, and they're being led down a certain path. The same way you see all the time parents talk about how their children went to a certain school and they've been indoctrinated to think a certain way because they've been taught that that way is the truth. And now the parents are concerned and there's no way of talking to them. This is the same exact thing. This is what this means. If it's not watched, if it's not monitored, this is exactly what could happen with this kind of content. And this is exactly what people are warning about when you're having this type of AI generated content being encouraged. And they're celebrating it, saying they're already seeing a 24% increase of engagement and basically locking people in. But I don't like where this could possibly lead. I don't think we should just ignore it. I think that all of us should be aware of this, and I think that it needs to be talked about more. And I think the question needs to be brought up to these companies that are engaging with this is, what promises or guarantees are you going to make to ensure that you are not going to have an agenda programmed into this AI generative model to make sure that young people that are engaging on your platform aren't being manipulated into thinking and behaving a certain way? Because you must understand that with social media and with content that is designed to engage with you and feed you whatever you're engaging with or whatever you're interacting with, is definitely a model for them to measure what you're thinking. It's all about thought. And with a tool that they can feed you specified content based on what you're thinking, it can definitely be used to manipulate how you think and what you believe, especially over time, the more you interact with it. And specifically, someone who is in a stage of life where their brain is developing and still developing, that is definitely something that could happen, and it needs to be talked about. What do you guys think? Am I overreacting to this? Do you think I'm losing my mind? Do you think I'm crossing into conspiracy theory territory? How do you feel about this? Let me know in the comment section below. I want to talk to you about it. Please like the video. That really, really does help. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. It really helps our channel. It really helps get our content out there more, and I very much appreciate you guys taking the time to do that. I hope that this video has been enjoyable. I'm going to post more videos later today about other types of AI things that are happening and how essentially this is going to become robots talking to robots. This is insane what we're seeing now in some of these articles and what these tech guys are announcing. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys in the next one.